Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepless Scientist, a quiet place in the cosmos where your thoughts can unwind and knowledge becomes a soft lullaby for the night. Tonight's journey will take us into the whispers of ancient light, the oldest messages ever written across the universe. We'll drift through the story of how these delicate photons, born billions of years ago, still speak to us today. They are not only reminders of what has passed, but also gentle guides pointing toward what may come tomorrow. But before you settle in and get cozy, I'd love if you could take a moment to like this video and subscribe, only if you truly find these quiet explorations enjoyable. And when you're ready, leave a comment to let me know where in the world you're listening from and what time it is for you right now. It's always such a joy to see all the places we gather from, each in our own little slice of time. Now, feel free to dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for a soft background hum, and let us gently begin our journey into the secrets carried by ancient light. And if your mind begins to wander, that's perfectly fine. Let it drift. We'll still be here, quietly unfolding the story. Imagine lying on your back in a dark field far from the city. The air is cool, the earth firm beneath you, and above stretches a sky scattered with stars. What you're seeing isn't really the present. The glow from those stars began its journey long before this moment. Some of it has travelled a few decades, some thousands of years, and others have been on the road for millions. When it finally brushes against your eyes, it's as if you're catching the faintest echo of a voice that spoke long ago. Ancient light is like that. Soft, delayed, a message that took its time. You might think of light as something instant, like a switch turning on a lamp. Yet in truth, every beam is a traveller. The sunlight that warms your skin left the sun about 8 minutes before you felt it. When you look at the moon, you're seeing it as it was a little over 1 second ago. These delays are so small in our daily lives that we rarely notice them, but scale up the distances and suddenly you're peering into the past. A galaxy so far away that its light took billions of years to arrive at Earth is not showing you its present at all. It's offering you a postcard from a time when life here was still microscopic. This is the first gentle secret. Light carries memory. Each photon is a time capsule, a silent courier from its place of origin. The universe has been filled with these couriers since its first dawn. Some of them have travelled nearly the entire age of the cosmos to reach us. They are faint, almost drowned in the static of space, but still they arrive, one by one, and together they weave a picture of where we came from. Think for a moment of an old family album. Perhaps you've seen faded photographs of ancestors you never met, grainy portraits in black and white, faces looking out with unfamiliar eyes, and yet you sense a connection. Ancient light is the universe's version of those photographs. The cosmic microwave background, often shortened to 3 letters, but best thought of as the faint afterglow of the universe's birth, is the oldest such picture we have. It comes from a time when the cosmos was barely a baby, less than 400,000 years old. That may sound like a large number, but compared to today's age of nearly 14 billion years, it is an infant's cry still echoing. Scientists describe this glow as a kind of baby picture of the universe. It is not a crisp portrait. It looks more like a mottled blanket of faint temperature variations spread across the sky. But hidden in those ripples is the entire blueprint of cosmic history. Whether light is slightly brighter or dimmer, gravity would one day gather gas into clouds, clouds into stars, and stars into galaxies. In those faint wrinkles, you can see the seeds of everything. The Milky Way, our sun, the earth beneath your feet, even the atoms in your body. To put it gently, the very first whispers of light were like musical notes struck at the beginning of a song that has never stopped playing. Each variation, each faint fluctuation, set the rhythm for what would unfold, and we, many verses later, are still listening to that same tune. When you think about it, light is one of the most patient storytellers in existence. Unlike words, which vanish as soon as they are spoken, or ink, which fades with time, photons can cross the gulfs of space for billions of years without forgetting where they began. They stream across the cosmic ocean, brushing past stars, bending around massive galaxies, and eventually, with quiet persistence, reaching the tiny detectors we build here on Earth. It's humbling to realise that when we point a telescope at the sky, we're not simply looking out, we are looking back. We are archaeologists, but instead of digging into soil, we are brushing dust off the light itself. Every photon is a relic, a shard of glass from a window into the past. When assembled together, they form mosaics of history. So tonight, as you lie listening, think of yourself as part of this slow exchange. The light falling on your eyelids has made a long journey to arrive. It may have passed through clouds, bounced off leaves, reflected from your wall, but at its heart it is ancient. Even the warmth from your bedside lamp carries a chain of events stretching back to the stars that forged the metals inside the filament. You're already bathed in stories that began long before you. The beauty of this thought is that ancient light doesn't only tell us where we've been, it also holds clues to where we are going. Just as the fading ripples of the cosmic microwave background whisper about the future formation of galaxies, so too does the light we study today help us imagine tomorrow's universe. This is where our journey will lead us, through fossils of starlight, through the bending pathways of photons shaped by gravity, through the rise and fall of stars, and even to the quiet predictions of how our cosmos may one day end. For now, though, it's enough to hold on to this image. Above you, around you, and even within you, there are photons, little travellers, that began their journey long ago. They may seem ordinary, just specks of brightness, but in their silence they carry the story of everything. If we follow the trail of these whispers, the path opens into a tale of beginnings, endings, and futures yet to come. As we drift further into the story, let's linger with this idea of light as a patient traveller. You can think of it as a letter sent without knowing who will ever read it. Imagine writing a message, sealing it in a bottle, and casting it into the ocean. You might forget about it, live an entire life, and still, one day, that bottle could wash up on a shore and be read by someone far away. In a very real sense, that is what photons are. Sealed messages, written at the moment of their birth, travelling across an ocean of space, waiting for us to open them. The oldest such message we can read is the faint afterglow of the universe's beginning, the light we call the cosmic microwave background. Scientists often shorten it into 3 letters, but it's best to let the words breathe. It is the background glow of microwaves, the invisible warmth that lingers from the universe's first fire. This light was released when the cosmos was still young, only a few 100,000 years old. Before that time, the universe was a fog of charged particles, too dense and too hot for light to travel freely. Photons bounced constantly, scattering like beams in a smoky room. Then, as the cosmos expanded and cooled, atoms formed, and suddenly the fog cleared. Light was free to move. That first freedom is still streaming outward, filling space in every direction. It's faint, but it never stopped travelling. When we tune our instruments to detect this ancient glow, what we see is not a smooth field, but a pattern of tiny variations, hotter here, cooler there, only by the smallest of margins. To the human eye, it looks like a mottled image, a kind of speckled fabric stretched across the sky. Yet those faint irregularities are not random noise. They are fingerprints of the infant universe, the earliest hints of structure. Where the glow was just a touch warmer, matter gathered a little more tightly, and over billions of years those slight excesses grew into stars, galaxies, and clusters. In the cooler patches, where there was just a little less matter, space became emptier, and cosmic voids stretched wide. It's extraordinary to realise that everything we know, our galaxy, our planet, our own existence, was foreshadowed in those subtle variations. It's like looking at a seed and realising the tree is already mapped inside it. just waiting for time to unfold. If you listen closely to that ancient glow, you are listening to the instructions for building the cosmos. Now, this is where the story takes on an even stranger character. Those tiny fluctuations in the glow are believed to be the magnified echoes of something even smaller, quantum ripples. In the earliest moments of the universe, before atoms, before light itself was free, space was filled with restless quantum activity. At that scale, energy flickers in and out of existence, like static on an old radio. Normally such fluctuations are minuscule, but during the universe's explosive growth in its first fraction of a second, those ripples were stretched, ballooned into patterns large enough to shape galaxies. Imagine the smallest wrinkles in a piece of cloth suddenly pulled taut and wide, until they determine the drape of the entire fabric. What began as whispers in the quantum realm became the architecture of the universe. It may sound dizzying, but you can anchor the thought in something familiar. Picture the way tiny gusts of wind across a pond can, over time, shape the ripples into larger waves. Or think of a small spark that grows into the rhythm of a roaring fire. The universe is built from such delicate beginnings, and light remembers those beginnings in exquisite detail. And here's the marvel. By studying this background glow, scientists can predict the future as well as reconstruct the past. The patterns tell us how fast the universe is expanding, how much of it is made of ordinary matter like atoms, how much is made of invisible matter that does not glow, and how much is governed by the mysterious force we call dark energy. None of these things are obvious to the eye, but they are hidden in the folds of the light itself. It's as though you could tell the shape of a vast mountain range just by listening to the echoes of your own footsteps. To bring it closer, think about listening to the hum of your refrigerator in the kitchen late at night. It seems like just noise, but if you pay attention, you can tell whether it's running smoothly or if something is off. The faint hiss of the cosmic microwave background works in the same way. It's the universe humming, and from that hum, we can sense its rhythm, its composition, and its fate. What's most striking is how accessible it is. This light fills the sky completely. If your eyes could detect microwaves instead of visible light, the night sky would not be dark at all. It would glow gently everywhere, a soft blanket of ancient warmth. You're surrounded by it, bathed in it, every moment. The first light is not far away in a distant corner of the cosmos. It is here, all around you, whispering still. And so, ancient light is both a photograph and a prophecy. It is a picture of the universe as an infant, yet in that picture are clues about the shape of its entire life. To look at it is to gaze both backward and forward, to see both origin and destiny. It reminds us that time is not a straight line of now after now, but a fabric woven from echoes, delays, and hints. From here, the story opens into new paths. Each photon from the background glow is not alone. Every star you see tonight, every galaxy captured in a telescope, is sending its own message, its own time capsule. These are younger than the first light, but still ancient in our terms. They are postcards from across the ages, and when we read them together, we step deeper into the long memory of the cosmos. If you've ever held an old photograph, maybe from a family album, you know the peculiar mix of emotions it brings. The paper might be faded, the edges curled, and yet there's a face staring back that feels both familiar and impossibly distant. A baby wrapped in blankets, perhaps, or a young child blinking in the sunlight of a day long past. You know, with the gift of hindsight, what that baby grew into, the person who became your parent, or grandparent, or maybe even yourself. In that single frozen moment, there's a whole story foreshadowed. The universe has its own baby picture. It's not printed on paper, and you won't find it in any photo album, but it exists, stretched across the sky in every direction. This baby picture is the faint afterglow of the first time light could truly travel freely. Scientists call it the cosmic microwave background, but let's keep it simple. It's the universe's earliest snapshot taken when the cosmos was still an infant. At that time, about 380,000 years after the beginning, things were finally calm enough for light to escape. Before that, the universe was a dense, searing fog of particles. Imagine trying to see across a smoky room where beams scatter and bounce endlessly. In that early fog, light had no chance of getting far, but as the cosmos cooled and expanded, the smoke cleared. Particles settled into atoms. Suddenly, the light that had been trapped was released, and it has been travelling ever since. That glow is still with us today, stretched into gentle microwaves by the ongoing expansion of space, filling the entire sky like a soft, invisible quilt. It's not much to look at. To the naked eye, the night sky seems dark between the stars, but with instruments tuned to the right frequencies, astronomers see it everywhere. A background of faint static, a uniform glow with tiny, almost imperceptible variations. Those variations are where the magic lies. Think of it like the graininess in an old photo. At first glance, it looks like noise, just random speckles. But hidden within those speckles are subtle patterns, tiny temperature differences across the sky. Warmer here by the smallest margin, cooler there by just as little. And yet those minuscule variations, no greater than a few thousandths of a degree, would set the stage for everything to come. Where the glow was slightly warmer, matter was denser. Gravity, ever patient, pulled more strongly in those places, gathering matter together over billions of years. Those knots became clouds, the clouds became stars, and stars collected into galaxies. Where the glow was cooler, matter was thinner, and vast cosmic voids would eventually open. From these gentle irregularities grew the grand structure of the universe. It's astonishing to realize that our galaxy, our sun, our planet, even our bodies, all trace back to faint ripples recorded in that baby picture. The photograph does not show galaxies or stars directly. It shows the seeds, the blueprint, the original instructions for their creation. To give you an image, picture a field in springtime. At first it seems empty, just soil beneath the sky. But hidden in the soil are seeds, tiny variations in where life will sprout. Weeks later, the field bursts into wildflowers, and suddenly the meaning of those seeds becomes clear. The cosmic microwave background is like that barren field, at first glance uniform, but secretly filled with the seeds of all that would bloom. This is why scientists treasure it. By studying the patterns imprinted in that light, we can deduce how much matter the universe contained, how it was distributed, and even how fast space has been stretching ever since. It is not only a record of the past, but a measuring stick for the present. From it, we can predict the future. That baby picture, mottled and faint, holds the rhythm of the cosmos across all of time. It may be tempting to wonder, how can something so delicate be measured at all? After all, the glow is unimaginably faint, like listening for a whisper in the middle of a storm. But humanity has learned patience. With balloons, satellites, and careful instruments, we've charted the glow across the sky. The Planck satellite, launched by the European Space Agency, produced the most detailed map to date, a portrait of the cosmos in its infancy, etched with the faint fingerprints of destiny. And what do we see? We see that the universe is remarkably simple in its earliest form, mostly hydrogen and helium, with a few fluctuations that would one day grow into everything else. But we also see mystery. The patterns tell us that most of the cosmos is not made of the familiar stuff of stars and people. They whisper of invisible matter and of a force, dark energy, that will drive the universe's future expansion. It is like looking at a child and realizing you cannot predict everything they will become, because hidden parts of their story are yet unseen. Still, the essence is there. The light shows us a baby universe, soft and featureless, and yet destined to become rich and varied. And it reminds us of a deeper truth. We are not separate from that baby picture. We are part of its unfolding. The atoms in your body trace their ancestry to those first fluctuations, the slight imbalances that grew into stars and, eventually, into the elements of life. In a very literal sense, you're written into the photograph. As you lie listening now, perhaps your breathing slowing, think of the way the cosmic microwave background wraps the sky. It is not a single point of light, like a star you can fix your gaze upon. It is everywhere, filling every direction, a silent embrace of ancient photons. You cannot step outside of it. It is the softest wallpaper of reality, covering everything. From here, the trail of clues leads us gently forward. If the cosmic microwave background is the baby picture, then every star and galaxy we see today is part of the unfolding album. Each photon we catch, whether from a nearby star or a galaxy billions of light years away, adds another page, and together they form the story of how ancient light continues to whisper not only of what was, but of what is yet to come. If we follow the thread a little further back, beyond even the baby picture of the universe, we find something stranger still. The mottled glow of the cosmic microwave background is not only an image of the young cosmos, it is also a magnified echo of whispers far smaller and more mysterious. It carries the faint imprint of quantum ripples, delicate fluctuations in the very fabric of existence itself. Quantum ripples may sound like an intimidating phrase, but you can imagine them simply as tiny jitters, the smallest tremors possible. At the smallest scales of nature, nothing sits perfectly still. Even empty space is restless, bubbling with fluctuations that appear and vanish too quickly for us to see directly. It is as if the universe cannot help but fidget, like a child unable to sit entirely still in their chair. Now imagine that restlessness being suddenly stretched to cosmic size. In the very first fractions of a second, the universe is thought to have undergone a period of unimaginable growth. Scientists call it inflation, but you can think of it as the universe's moment of rapid expansion, ballooning from smaller than an atom to vast cosmic scales in less than a heartbeat. During this extraordinary burst, those tiny quantum jitters were pulled and magnified, expanded like wrinkles on fabric suddenly tugged until the whole cloth is patterned. It's a strange thought, isn't it? The grand structure of galaxies and clusters, the sweeping architecture of the universe, was shaped by quantum tremors too small to imagine. What began as the gentlest of ripples became the scaffolding of reality itself. It is like watching the faintest breath across a pond swell into waves that one day carve the shoreline. To bring this closer, think of baking bread. The yeast inside the dough makes small bubbles of gas. At first they are minuscule, but as the dough rises, those bubbles expand, creating the pockets and texture of the loaf. Without those early bubbles, the bread would be flat and lifeless. In the same way, the universe's early quantum bubbles grew into the large-scale texture of the cosmos. The traces of those bubbles, those quantum ripples, are written into the background glow we see today. The variations in temperature across the sky, the faint speckles that make up the baby picture, are the fossilized memory of those ancient tremors. They are not random static. They are the universe's first signature. And astonishingly, they still carry information we can measure. What kind of information? Well, hidden in the patterns of that ancient light are clues about how fast the early universe expanded, what kind of energy drove that expansion, and what ingredients filled the cosmos. It is as though the baby picture is annotated with faint notes in the margins, waiting for us to learn how to read them. By decoding those notes, scientists can test ideas about what happened in that first fraction of a second, long before stars or galaxies ever formed. And there is a gentle wonder here. The information comes to us not in numbers scrawled across the sky, but in the simplest of languages, slightly warmer here, slightly cooler there. A difference of a few thousandths of a degree in the glow is enough to tell us about the engine that launched the cosmos into being. It is a bit like listening to the pitch of a distant bird call and learning about the forest it came from. When we say quantum fluctuations, we might be tempted to imagine complicated symbols on chalkboards, but the reality they describe can be expressed in soft metaphors. Imagine a quiet room where the air never quite stands still, where small drafts swirl unnoticed. Now picture that room suddenly expanding into a cathedral, the drafts stretching into currents that shape the echo of every sound. The whispers of the quantum world became the currents of the universe, and if this idea feels difficult to hold, remember that the evidence is right above you. Every time astronomers map the background glow, they are capturing those stretched whispers. They can trace how they grew, how they seeded galaxies, how they predicted the balance of matter and energy. What began as the faintest hint of instability became the sturdy framework of reality. It may help to remember that the universe has always been this way, large things shaped by the smallest. The stars in the night sky owe their light to nuclear reactions deep inside, reactions governed by the behavior of tiny particles. The warmth you feel from the sun is powered by processes happening at the scale of protons and electrons, and here, on the grandest scale of all, the shape of the cosmos is linked to fluctuations smaller than atoms. The small becomes vast, the fleeting becomes eternal. If you close your eyes for a moment, you might even picture it. A blanket woven with uneven threads. At first, the differences in thickness seem trivial, but when stretched across a vast frame, those slight variations form the patterns of the whole fabric. That is what the quantum whispers became, the pattern of everything. And from these patterns, scientists can even glimpse the future. Because if the universe grew this way at its beginning, then the same rules guide how it will expand in the future. The small tells us about the great. The past whispers about the tomorrow yet to come. So, as we rest with this thought, remember, the universe you live in, the galaxies you see, even the atoms that make up your body were born from tremors in the quietest moments imaginable. Ancient light carries those whispers across time, and when it brushes against our detectors, or even our imaginations, it speaks not just of what has been, but of what will be. Our quiet exploration now turns to another secret hidden in this glow. Not just how the universe began, but what this light can tell us about the unseen ingredients of reality, the invisible matter and the mysterious energy that shape tomorrow's fate. From here, the story opens into the hidden layers that ancient light quietly reveals. We've spoken of quantum ripples stretched to cosmic scale, of faint variations across the baby picture of the universe. But those ripples are not only seeds for galaxies, they're also the first clues to ingredients we cannot see directly. Matter and energy that remain invisible but decisive. The glow of the cosmic microwave background carries their shadows, etched into its mottled surface like fingerprints pressed into clay. Let's begin with matter, the familiar and the not so familiar. When you look around a room, you see ordinary matter. Wood in the chair, glass in the window, air molecules drifting. This is the matter built from atoms, the stuff of protons, neutrons and electrons. But when scientists read the ancient light, they discovered something remarkable. Ordinary matter accounts for only a small fraction of what exists. The ripples in the background glow are too structured, too influenced by gravity to have been shaped by atoms alone. Something heavier, more pervasive, must be at play. That something is what we call dark matter. Not dark because it is sinister, but dark because it does not shine. It neither emits light nor absorbs it. It moves invisibly, yet it pulls on everything else through gravity. Imagine a dance floor where you can only see some of the dancers. The music swirls, bodies move, and you notice that the visible dancers are being tugged by unseen partners. You cannot see the partners, but their influence is undeniable. The background glow of the universe tells us those invisible partners were there from the beginning, guiding the steps of matter into the first clumps and filaments. It is humbling to realise that without this hidden matter, galaxies would not have formed as they did. Stars might never have gathered. Even we, made of ordinary atoms, might not have come to be. Dark matter is the silent scaffolding, and its imprint is written in ancient light. Then there is something stranger still, the mysterious influence we call dark energy. Where dark matter pulls, dark energy pushes. It seems to drive the universe's expansion, stretching space faster and faster. In the background glow, scientists see hints of this acceleration, as though the fabric of the cosmos is not only unfolding but doing so with increasing urgency. The exact nature of dark energy is unknown. It could be a property of space itself, an energy that arises simply from emptiness. Or it could be something else entirely waiting to be discovered. To make sense of it, think of a balloon. When you begin to blow air into it, the rubber resists and the balloon expands slowly. But imagine that with every breath, the rubber becomes easier to stretch. The balloon inflates more rapidly, as though some unseen hand is helping. That is the universe under the influence of dark energy, not only expanding, but expanding faster with time. It may seem unsettling to speak of so much that we cannot see or touch, but remember, the evidence is gentle and steady. The light itself tells us this. Its patterns, its faint shifts in temperature, carry the mark of invisible matter and unseen energy. Like shadows cast on a wall, we may not see the object directly, but the outline is undeniable. And yet, the lesson here is not just scientific, it is also quietly poetic. Ancient light reminds us that reality is always deeper than appearances. What you see in the night sky, the stars and galaxies, is only a fraction of what is there. The majority is hidden, woven into the silence. The universe is a book with most of its pages invisible, and yet the visible sentences still carry hints of the whole. To anchor this in something familiar, imagine listening to a symphony through a wall. You hear the violins clearly, perhaps a flute or two. But you notice the rhythm of the bass, the pulse of the drums, even though you cannot see them. Their presence shapes the music. Without them, the melody would be incomplete. Dark matter and dark energy are like that. Unseen instruments that shape the grand composition. Now, what does this mean for the future? If dark energy continues its push, the universe will expand ever more quickly. Galaxies will drift apart like lanterns carried away by currents. The night sky, billions of years from now, could grow emptier and quieter as the stars recede beyond reach. That future is encoded in the patterns of light from billions of years ago. It is extraordinary to think that the whispers of the infant universe can tell us how the cosmos will age. And still, there is mystery. Scientists debate whether dark energy is constant or changing, whether it will stretch the universe gently forever or one day tear it apart in a cataclysmic acceleration. The ancient light offers hints, but not yet final answers. It is like holding a weathered map with missing corners. The outline of the journey is clear, but the destination is still uncertain. Even so, there is beauty in the unknown. The fact that light, so small, so weightless, carries with it the secrets of invisible forces is a reminder that the cosmos speaks in whispers. You do not need to grasp every equation to appreciate the story. It is enough to know that the glow above you is a messenger, hinting at partners in the dance, shadows in the pattern, currents in the expansion. As you lie in your bed or lean back on your couch, imagine the space around you filled not only with what you see, but also with what you do not. Dark matter threads silently through every galaxy, holding them together. Dark energy seeps into every corner, pushing galaxies apart. And photons, those tireless travellers, carry the record of it all. brushing softly against you as they arrive. The trail of clues leads us gently onward. We have listened to the first whispers of quantum ripples, traced their growth into galaxies, and glimpsed the shadows of hidden matter and energy. Ahead, the story will open into how we can read these patterns like a language, using light not only to describe the past, but to forecast the future, turning observation into a form of cosmic prediction. The path now carries us toward a remarkable idea, that by listening to the echoes of ancient light, we can make predictions about the future. Not guesses, not pure speculation, but forecasts built on patterns already written in the sky. The cosmic microwave background, the baby picture of the universe, isn't only a portrait of what once was. It is also a set of instructions, a score sheet, a roadmap. In its faint variations, it contains the clues to how stars would form, how galaxies would cluster, and even how the universe will age. Think of it this way. If you pick up a tiny seed, you might not know exactly how many leaves it will grow, how tall the plant will stand, or how long it will live. But from that seed, you can already tell whether it will become a tree, a flower, or a blade of grass. The cosmic microwave background is like a field of seeds. Each warm and cool patch in that ancient glow tells us what kind of cosmic structures would eventually sprout. Galaxies are the trees, clusters of galaxies are the forests, and we are still walking through the fields of that growth. When scientists map the sky in microwaves, they see patterns that can be translated into numbers. But you don't need those numbers to understand the essence. Where the glow shows slightly denser regions, more galaxies would eventually grow. Where it shows emptier regions, vast voids would stretch. The cosmic web we observe today, with strands of galaxies reaching across billions of light years, was already hinted at in those first irregularities. It's a bit like listening to the first few notes of a song and being able to hum the rest. You might not know every detail, but the melody is already there. That melody is written in light. But how does light tell us about the universe's future? Here's one way. The patterns in the ancient glow tell us how much ordinary matter, and dark energy exist. Those proportions determine how the universe will behave. More dark matter means stronger gravitational pull, leading to more clumping and star formation. More dark energy means faster expansion, leading to a more lonely and scattered future. By reading the glow, scientists can weigh the cosmos, like holding it in their hands on a scale of light. To make this gentle, imagine listening to the hum of an old machine. The pitch and rhythm of the hum can tell an attentive ear whether the machine is running smoothly or whether it's straining, perhaps close to breaking. The universe hums in microwaves, and we can hear in that hum how its engines are tuned. One of the great successes of this reading is the prediction of how galaxies would cluster. Decades ago, when astronomers began charting galaxy positions, they found filaments, walls, and voids. To their amazement, those structures matched what the baby picture had foretold. The sky was not random. It was a map. Ancient light had whispered the pattern long before the galaxies finished arranging themselves. This is why scientists sometimes describe the background glow as a fossil record. But unlike bones in stone, which only tell of the past, these fossils tell of the future too. It's as if finding a dinosaur skeleton could also reveal how birds will evolve millions of years later. There's another dimension to this story: time itself. The glow shows that gravity does not only pull on matter, it also slows the ticking of cosmic time. Where matter is denser, time flows a little more slowly. Where it is emptier, time runs a little faster. These differences are tiny, but over billions of years they add up. By charting these variations, we can project how the rhythm of time will stretch in the future. Let's anchor that with something closer to home. You might have noticed that a pendulum clock ticks slightly differently, depending on whether you carry it up a mountain or down into a valley. Gravity changes the rhythm. In the same way, the universe's early landscape determined the tempo of cosmic time. The ancient light records that tempo, and by studying it, we can hear how the future will unfold. Even star formation, the birth of suns, can be forecast this way. By knowing how matter was spread in the young cosmos, scientists can predict how many stars would form in different regions and how quickly galaxies would ignite. It's like looking at weather patterns in spring and being able to say how lush the summer will be. Of course, there are surprises, storms and droughts along the way, but the overall pattern is written in the sky. And what about us here on Earth? The predictions stretch even to our place in the story. The same models built from ancient light explain why our galaxy formed when it did, why stars like the Sun appeared at the right moment to seed planets with heavier elements, and why life had a chance to take root. It was not inevitable, but it was made possible by the blueprint laid down in that first light. In a way, we are one of the melodies hidden in the hum. Now, there is humility in this too. Our predictions are not certainties. They are sketches, probabilities drawn from whispers. Yet even with that uncertainty, the light offers us something profound, a sense that tomorrow is not disconnected from yesterday. The future is woven into the past, carried along by photons that began their journey long before our world existed. So when you look up at the night sky and see starlight, remember that you are not just seeing history, you're also catching glimpses of what is yet to come. The photons may have set out billions of years ago, but their message continues to unfold. The glow of the cosmos is both memory and forecast, both echo and prophecy. As we drift deeper into this story, our quiet exploration now turns to the ways we can refine these predictions, not just by listening to the ancient glow, but by capturing even fainter light, by letting gravity itself bend light into natural telescopes, and by watching the universe reveal what was once invisible. Our quiet exploration now turns to the simple yet astonishing fact that every photon of light is also a traveller through time. When you look up at the stars, you're not seeing them as they are now. You're seeing them as they once were, each twinkle a delayed message that began its journey long before this night. Light, swift as it is, does not arrive instantly across the gulfs of space. It carries with it the history of its departure, a postcard postmarked millions, sometimes billions, of years ago. Imagine for a moment sending a letter across a vast ocean. You drop it into a bottle and cast it into the waves. Days, months, even years might pass before someone finds it on a distant shore. The message remains, but its meaning is wrapped in the delay. Light is like that. A message in a bottle drifting through cosmic waters. Each photon is stamped with the time of its creation, and when it arrives, you are peeking into the past. Take the sun. The warm glow that reaches your skin on a bright afternoon is already more than 8 minutes old. That may not sound like much, but it means the sun could change, flare, or dim, and you would not know for nearly 10 minutes. The sun you see is already history. The moon, shining softly at night, is even closer. Its light only takes a little over a second to arrive. Yet still, what you see is a moment gone by. Extend the scale further, and the effect becomes profound. The nearest star system, Alpha Centauri, lies over 4 years away by the measure of light. The glow you see from it tonight began in 2019. In a sense, you are having a conversation with the past. Other stars in the sky send messages thousands of years old, and the faintest galaxies captured in the Hubble or James Webb telescopes, those smudges of light barely perceptible against the darkness, began their journey when the Earth itself was not yet formed. To see them is to step back billions of years, into an era when the universe was young. It may help to anchor this with something familiar. Picture receiving a postcard from a friend. But instead of arriving a week after their vacation, it shows up decades later, slipped into your mailbox by surprise. You smile, knowing that what you are reading is no longer the present for them, but it is still true of the moment when they wrote it. Starlight is like that. Each beam is a late delivery, sometimes unimaginably late. Astronomers sometimes call this effect look-back time. When they measure the distance to a galaxy, they're also measuring how far back in history they're peering. A galaxy 1 billion light-years away is not simply far in space, it is 1 billion years in the past. The telescope becomes a time machine, and light is the film unspooling. What makes this even more extraordinary is that light is honest. It does not forget. A photon created in the core of a star billions of years ago carries with it the story of that star's temperature, its motion, its chemistry. By the time it brushes against a detector here on Earth, it is still carrying the same story, undiminished, by the journey. Scientists can split that light, like passing it through a prism, and read the rainbow it reveals. Within the colours are fingerprints of elements, hydrogen, helium, carbon, oxygen. It is as though the postcard included not only words, but also the scent of the place it was written, the dust of the road it travelled. And so, each night sky is more than a backdrop of twinkling stars. It is a museum of messages, each photon a relic on display. When you gaze upward, you're standing in a gallery of time, surrounded by ancient artifacts that only appear ordinary because they are so familiar. There is also a gentleness in this thought. The light that greets your eyes has travelled across silence, across voids vast enough to humble imagination. Some photons may have brushed past great clouds of gas, bent subtly by the pull of invisible matter, or stretched thinner and redder by the ongoing expansion of the universe. And yet through all that they arrive without complaint, carrying their message like a quiet courier that never forgets its task. It is worth remembering too that this story does not only belong to distant stars. The light around you right now from a lamp or a candle has also travelled. The bulb glows, the flame flickers, and photons stream outward. They cross the room in a fraction of a second, brushing past walls, books, faces. In that instant, they too are tiny time capsules, leaving the moment they were born behind. You are both a sender and receiver in this exchange. Your own body radiates faint warmth, photons in the infrared spectrum drifting into the night. You are, in a literal sense, a source of light messages yourself. They may not travel across galaxies, but they are still couriers of the moment you are living. The beauty of this perspective is how it folds the immense into the intimate. When you stare at a star, you're reaching back into its history. When someone looks at you in the sunlight, they are seeing you as you were a fraction of a moment ago. Time is always slipping, always delayed, always travelling on waves of light. As you let this thought rest in your mind, imagine yourself surrounded by an ocean of photons, each one a messenger from a different when and where. Some left their origin before the first trees on Earth, before oceans formed, before even our planet existed, and yet they find you here in this quiet night as you listen and drift towards sleep. The trail of clues leads us gently into the work of astronomers who take these fossil photons and treat them like archaeologists treat bones and pottery, carefully brushing away the noise, piecing together fragments, and reconstructing the histories of galaxies. For in the end, starlight is not only a message, it is a fossil record written in colour waiting to be read. If we follow the thread a little further, we find that light is not only a traveller but also a fossil. A fossil is a remnant of something that once lived, preserved long after the body itself is gone. Light works in much the same way. Photons released by stars and galaxies billions of years ago are still arriving today, long after those stars have changed or even vanished. They are fossils in motion, telling us about a past that no longer exists in the same form. Astronomers sometimes call this practice galactic archaeology. Instead of shovels and brushes, they use telescopes and prisms. Instead of bones and pottery, they sift through photons. Each one is a fragment of the past, carrying a record of the conditions in which it was created. When these fragments are pieced together, they form stories of how galaxies were born, how they grew, and how they changed across time. Imagine an archaeologist brushing dust off an ancient shard of pottery. The shard might seem insignificant on its own, but when compared with others, it reveals the design of the vessel it once belonged to. In the same way, astronomers collect light from stars, break it into its rainbow of colours, and look for patterns. Each colour is a clue. A little more blue here, a little less red there. Together they form the shape of a galaxy's history. This process is called spectroscopy, though you can think of it simply as rainbow reading. When white light passes through a prism, it spreads into a band of colours. Starlight behaves the same way, and just as fingerprints are unique to each person, the patterns in a rainbow of starlight are unique to the elements inside the star. Hydrogen leaves one kind of mark, helium another, and heavier elements like carbon or iron still others. By reading these patterns, astronomers know not only what stars are made of, but also how old they are, how fast they move, and how many generations of stars came before them. It's worth pausing to notice how poetic this is. Stars that burned billions of years ago still leave their marks in the rainbows we can see today. They may be gone, but their fingerprints remain. Every spectrum is an ancient artifact, like a cave painting left behind for future eyes to discover. In fact, much of what we know about galaxy evolution comes from this kind of light archaeology. Galaxies are not static. They are communities of stars born, aging, and dying over cosmic time. By reading the light of galaxies near and far, scientists can reconstruct their biographies. Some galaxies appear calm, their stars arranged in neat spirals, like towns that grew slowly and steadily. Others look chaotic, twisted and warped, evidence of past collisions and mergers, like cities rebuilt after earthquakes. You can picture this as leafing through a family album of galaxies. Nearby galaxies are the most recent photographs, grown and settled, mature in their form. Distant galaxies, whose light has travelled for billions of years, are younger snapshots. By comparing them, astronomers see the whole story: infancy, adolescence, adulthood. It's not unlike watching a time-lapse of a tree, growing from a seed to a towering presence, except in this case the time-lapse is made of light collected across the sky. And there is another kind of fossil hidden in these photons, the evidence of the very first elements. In the earliest universe, only hydrogen and helium existed in abundance. Heavier elements, carbon, oxygen, iron, were forged later in the cores of stars. When those stars died, they scattered their elements into space, enriching the next generation. This cycle of birth and death, of enrichment and renewal, is written in the light. A galaxy rich in heavy elements is older, having passed through many cycles of stellar generations. A galaxy poor in them is younger, still in its early chapters. You can think of this like rings in a tree. Each ring marks a season of growth. Some are wide, some narrow, depending on conditions. Cut through the trunk, and you can read the history of droughts and rains, of years abundant and years lean. Light is the tree ring of galaxies. By reading the lines in a rainbow, scientists can trace the age and growth of entire cosmic communities. Perhaps the most moving part of this is that we too are written into this fossil record. The oxygen you breathe, the calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, all of it was forged in stars long gone. When you look at ancient light, you're looking at your own ancestry. You are, in a sense, an artifact of galactic archaeology yourself. To bring this closer, imagine standing in a museum surrounded by fossils. You see the bones of creatures that lived millions of years ago, and you realise that the ground beneath your feet, the air you breathe, and even your own body are part of that same story. Now replace bones with photons, and galaxies with the Earth. The museum is the night sky. Every twinkle is a display case, holding fossils of fire long extinguished, yet still glowing faintly in the dark. And what of the galaxies themselves? Light reveals their variety. Some shine steadily, like quiet villages. Others blaze with bursts of star formation, like cities lit with fireworks. Some are colliding, their shapes distorted, like two rivers meeting in turbulence. Each has its history, and all of it is preserved in photons, fossils drifting across time. So the next time you look at the stars, remember that you're not simply seeing distant suns. You're walking through an archaeological site, brushing dust from ancient shards of light. Each photon is a fossil, each rainbow a relic, each galaxy a monument in the Museum of Time. And if you listen carefully, those fossils are whispering the stories of their creation, waiting for us to piece them together. From here, our story drifts to the first sparks of fire in the cosmic night, the very first stars, pure and unpolluted, blazing without ash. They were the campfires that lit the darkness, the ones that gave rise to all others. The trail of clues leads us gently into the deepest night of all, the time before the first stars were born. For a while after the universe's beginning, there were no suns, no galaxies, not even the faint glimmers of starlight we're so used to seeing in the night sky. It was a cosmos filled with hydrogen and helium, a quiet sea of invisible gases stretching endlessly, waiting. Then, slowly, gravity began to gather those gases into knots. The first stars were lit, and with them, the cosmic darkness ended. Astronomers call these the first generation of stars, sometimes labelled as Population 3. But let's soften that title. They were the universe's original campfires. Imagine a landscape plunged in night and someone lights the first flame. It may be small, but it transforms the scene. These first stars were that fire, brilliant, fierce, and unlike anything that followed. They were different because they had only the simplest ingredients, hydrogen and helium, the two lightest elements created in the furnace of the early universe. Today's stars, like our sun, are rich in heavier elements, carbon, oxygen, iron, scattered by earlier generations of stars. But the first stars had no such legacy. They burned pure, like dry kindling without smoke. That is why we call them fire without ash. To picture them, think of a bonfire built from fresh wood, burning hot and clean, with flames leaping skyward. Later fires, built from scraps and damp logs, burn differently, slower, smokier, more complex. In the same way, the universe's first fires blazed with a clarity that later generations would never match. These stars were immense, many times more massive than our sun. Because of their size, they lived fast and burned through their fuel quickly. Where our sun will shine for about 10 billion years, the first stars may have lasted only a few million. Their lives were brief, but intense, a flash of brilliance that set the stage for everything else. Why do they matter so much? Because in their hearts, for the first time, heavier elements were forged. Hydrogen fused into helium, helium into carbon, oxygen, and beyond. When these stars died, they scattered those elements into space, enriching the cosmic sea with the ingredients for future generations of stars, for planets, and eventually for life. Every breath you take, every drop of water, every cell in your body contains atoms once cooked in the furnace of stars. Without those first campfires, the universe would still be a dark ocean of hydrogen and helium, without the richness we know today. It's humbling to think that the iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, and the oxygen filling your lungs were all born in such places. The first stars were the alchemists of creation, transforming simple gas into the palette of elements needed for complexity. Without them, there would be no Earth, no oceans, no forests, no you. But here's the gentle irony. We cannot see them directly. They are long gone. Their brief lives ended billions of years ago. Their light has faded beyond our reach. What we can observe are their descendants, later generations of stars enriched by their ashes. It's a little like hearing stories about ancestors you will never meet. You cannot speak to them directly, but their presence is undeniable in your very existence. Still, astronomers are clever archaeologists. By searching for galaxies at the farthest edges of visibility, where light has been travelling for nearly the entire history of the cosmos, they hope to catch glimpses of these first fires. The James Webb Space Telescope, with its sensitive eyes in the infrared, is already peering into this era, searching for galaxies lit by stars almost unimaginably old. Each faint dot it reveals may be one of the earliest communities shaped by the universe's first light-bearers. Let's anchor this thought in something familiar. Imagine sitting by a campfire deep in the woods. The fire is bright and it pushes the darkness back. Now imagine others see the glow from far away. Even if they arrive after the fire has burned out, the smell of smoke, the warmth left in the ashes, and the stories told by those who were there confirm that a fire once burned. The universe's first stars are like that. We may never see them directly, but their ashes, their warmth, and their legacy remain in every star and planet that followed. Their deaths were as dramatic as their lives. Many of them ended in colossal explosions, supernovae so bright they outshone entire galaxies. In those final moments, even heavier elements, iron, nickel, gold, were forged and hurled outward. The cycle of creation and destruction began in earnest. First stars gave way to second stars, enriched by the ashes of the first. Planets coalesced. Life had the chance to emerge. The story of the first stars is therefore not just a scientific curiosity, it is a reminder of how beginnings work. Out of simplicity came complexity. Out of brief, brilliant lives came the richness of diversity. Out of fire without ash came the possibility of life. As you rest tonight, perhaps under the glow of modern lights or the soft shimmer of the moon, think of those first campfires. Their flames are long extinguished, but their warmth is in your breath, their ashes in your bones. You are, in a quiet and literal sense, made from their light. From here, the story bends toward endings. For as the first stars lived, so too did they die, and in their deaths they created echoes that still ring across the cosmos. The next chapter in our journey will listen to those echoes, supernovae, the grand finales of stars, reminding us that in the universe, even endings are beginnings. The trail of clues leads us gently onward, from the first campfires of the cosmos to the ways those fires came to an end. Every star, no matter how brilliant, must one day exhaust its fuel. Some fade quietly, shrinking into dim embers that slowly cool for eons. Others end in drama, collapsing and exploding with such force that their light can outshine entire galaxies. These endings are not only spectacular, they are creative. For in their deaths, stars recycle the raw ingredients of the universe, scattering them outward for new generations of stars, planets, and eventually life. Think of a compost heap in a garden. It may look like an end, a pile of discarded scraps and fading leaves. Yet in time it becomes soil, rich and fertile, ready to nurture new growth. Stars are like that. Their deaths are not mere endings, but transformations. What seems like destruction is actually the preparation for creation. When the most massive stars run out of fuel, their cores collapse under the weight of their own gravity. The outer layers crash inward and rebound outward in an explosion we call a supernova. Imagine striking a drum so hard that its sound echoes across a valley. The blast of a supernova echoes across space in light, energy, and matter. For a few days or weeks, the star shines brighter than the billions of stars in its galaxy combined. Then, slowly it fades, leaving behind either a dense neutron star or a black hole, and a cloud of debris rich in heavy elements. Those elements are crucial: gold, silver, uranium, iron, oxygen. These are not made in the Big Bang. They are born in stars and flung into space by stellar deaths. Without these endings, the universe would still be mostly hydrogen and helium. There would be no rocky planets, no water, no life. Every atom of iron in your blood was once part of a star's heart. Every breath you take contains oxygen forged in stellar furnaces. You are quite literally walking stardust. It may feel overwhelming to hold this thought, that the jewellery you wear, the coins you hold, the very cells of your body are ancient relics of explosions billions of years ago. But there is comfort in it too. Endings create beginnings. Each supernova is both a death and a promise, a cosmic compost heap that ensures new things will grow. Some of the most beautiful sights in the night sky are the remnants of such deaths. Take the Crab Nebula, for example, a glowing cloud of gas and dust left behind by a supernova seen on Earth in the year 1054. Astronomers and sky watchers in China recorded its sudden appearance. So bright it was visible in daylight. Nearly 1,000 years later, its echoes are still visible in telescopes, filaments of light and matter slowly expanding, still glowing with the memory of the star's end. There is poetry in this. A star that lived for millions of years, ending in a moment of brilliance, continues to paint the sky long after. It's like the lingering scent of smoke after a campfire is gone, or the echo of music that still hums in your ears once the concert ends. The light and matter from stellar deaths resonate far beyond the moment of collapse, and it is not only light that travels. Supernovae release waves of particles, neutrinos, that race outward almost unhindered, passing through planets and people alike. They are so elusive that billions pass through your body every second, silent messengers from distant deaths. You never feel them, yet they connect you directly to the restless life of the stars. To bring this closer to home, picture autumn leaves falling to the ground. Their death is not a loss but a renewal. They decay, enrich the soil and feed the growth of spring. The death of stars works in the same way. It is part of a cycle, a rhythm that turns endings into nourishment for what comes next. Without it, the cosmos would remain static and sterile. With it, the universe becomes a garden, each death seeding countless new lives. Not all stars end violently. Stars like our sun will eventually swell into red giants, shedding their outer layers gently into space. The core left behind cools into a white dwarf, a glowing ember that slowly fades over billions of years. Even in this quieter ending, the discarded layers become raw material for new stars and planets. The story of recycling continues, whether in silence or in thunder. When you look at the night sky, you're not only seeing stars alive today, you're seeing the legacy of countless deaths, the heavy elements that glow in galaxies, the dust that drifts between stars, the gas clouds that will one day ignite. All of it is stardust already used, discarded, and repurposed. The night sky is a record of endings that became beginnings. Perhaps the most moving part is this: without those deaths, there would be no us. Life depends on endings we never witnessed. We owe our existence to stars that burned out billions of years ago, long before the Earth was born. They did not know they were preparing a home for us, yet their final gift was the chemistry of life. So when you think of death, remember the stars. For them, endings are never final. They are transformations, transitions in a cycle that stretches across time. Their echoes linger in light, in matter, in us. From here, our quiet exploration now turns to the act of prediction. How, by reading the fossils of light and the echoes of stellar deaths, astronomers have learned to forecast the cosmos itself. Just as farmers read weathered soil to guess the harvest, we read photons to glimpse what is yet to come. Our quiet exploration now turns to the art of prediction, to the gentle science of listening to what the universe is trying to tell us through light. We often think of astronomy as a backward-looking discipline, staring into the past, uncovering fossils of long-dead stars, piecing together the earliest moments of the cosmos. But there is another side, a forward-looking one. By studying ancient light, scientists can forecast what comes next. Much as a farmer reading the sky can sense the coming season, or a gardener can tell from the soil whether the flowers will bloom. Light contains patterns, and in those patterns are hints of the future. Think of ripples on a pond. If you toss in, A stone, the circles spread outward in a predictable way. Even if you don't see the stone fall, you can look at the ripples and know where it landed, how large it was, and where the waves are heading. In the same way, photons from the early universe carry ripples that tell us not just what has happened, but what is about to unfold. Astronomers use these ripples, variations in the cosmic microwave background, the clustering of galaxies, the colours of starlight, to build models. A model, in this sense, is not unlike a recipe. If you know the ingredients and how they behave, you can predict what the final dish will taste like. Ancient light provides the list of cosmic ingredients. How much ordinary matter, how much dark matter, how much dark energy. By combining those in simulations, scientists can forecast the structure of the cosmos, where galaxies will form, how fast stars will ignite, how clusters of galaxies will dance together in the future. It's important to remember that these forecasts are not exact blueprints. They are probabilities, like weather reports. A meteorologist might say there is a 70% chance of rain tomorrow. That is not certainty, but it is knowledge. It helps you decide whether to bring an umbrella. In much the same way, astronomers say, given the patterns we see in light, there is a high probability galaxies will cluster in this way, or stars will form at that rate. The cosmos becomes forecastable, like the weather of eternity. To anchor this in everyday life, imagine reading tree rings. Each ring in the trunk of a tree is a record of a year's growth. By examining them, you can tell when the tree experienced drought, when it grew quickly, when it struggled. With enough study, you might even predict how it will grow in the coming seasons. Ancient light is the tree ring of the universe. Its tiny fluctuations and spectra are growth rings, telling us about past cycles and hinting at the future. The wonder of this is that the forecasts extend far beyond human timescales. While weather reports look days ahead and climate models predict centuries, cosmic models can reach billions of years into the future. They tell us, for example, that star formation across the universe is slowing down, that the great era of star birth has already peaked. Billions of years ago, the cosmos was ablaze with new stars forming rapidly. Today, that pace has diminished, like a fire settling into embers. The ancient light told us this would happen, and our telescopes confirm that it has. Another prediction is about the fate of galaxies. Over time, galaxies merge, pulled together by their mutual gravity. The Milky Way itself is on a slow collision course with its neighbour, the Andromeda Galaxy. The two will meet in about 4 billion years, their stars weaving together into a new, larger galaxy. We know this not because we can see the collision already, but because the patterns in light tell us how galaxies move, how gravity shapes their dance. Light is the choreographer's notes, and we are watching the performance slowly unfold. Even more profound are the predictions about the ultimate destiny of the universe. Ancient light tells us the balance of matter and energy, and that balance tells us how expansion will proceed. For now, the evidence suggests that the cosmos will continue expanding forever, driven by the mysterious force of dark energy. Galaxies will drift apart, stars will exhaust their fuel, and eventually the universe may grow dark and quiet. It is not a cheerful ending, but it is one written softly in the light. But it is worth pausing here to remember that predictions are not prison sentences. Just as weather can surprise us with an unexpected storm or a sudden clearing, so too may the cosmos hold mysteries yet undiscovered. The patterns we see in the sky are powerful guides, but they may not reveal everything. There may be new forces, new elements of reality waiting to be found. Ancient light has given us a script, but the story may yet hold surprises. And perhaps this is what makes it so calming to listen to these forecasts, the blend of certainty and mystery. On one hand, light tells us that galaxies will merge, stars will fade, and expansion will continue. On the other, it leaves space for wonder, for the unknown, for the possibility of futures we cannot yet imagine. So, when you look up at the night sky, you are not only gazing at postcards from the past, you're also glimpsing outlines of the future. The stars are not only memories, they are also forecasts. The galaxies are not only fossils, they're also weather maps of tomorrow. As we drift further into this exploration, our attention turns to the way gravity itself bends light into shapes we could never have imagined. These bends, these distortions, act like natural telescopes, magnifying distant galaxies and letting us see the otherwise invisible. In those curved paths of light, we find another way to predict the unseen. The path now carries us into one of the universe's most remarkable tricks, the bending of light itself. Normally, when we imagine a telescope, we think of polished glass lenses or mirrors crafted with precision. But the cosmos has its own lenses, built not of glass, but of gravity. This phenomenon is called gravitational lensing, though you can think of it more gently as nature's magnifying glass. Imagine placing a straw in a glass of water. From above, the straw appears bent, broken in two, though you know it is whole. The water has bent the path of light, distorting what you see. Space can do the same thing, except instead of water, the bending comes from gravity. Massive objects, galaxies, clusters of galaxies, even invisible halos of dark matter, curve the fabric of space around them. As light travels across these curves, its path bends. To us, the background object looks stretched, magnified, sometimes multiplied into strange arcs and rings. This is not just a curiosity, it is a gift. For in these distortions, astronomers find a way to peer deeper into the universe than our instruments alone could allow. A massive galaxy cluster sitting between us and more distant galaxies acts like a natural telescope. It bends and focuses the light of faint galaxies behind it, bringing them into view. Without these gravitational lenses, many of the earliest galaxies would remain hidden. Think of it as stumbling upon a magnifying glass lying on the ground. You pick it up, hold it to your eye, and suddenly you see details you never noticed before. Veins in a leaf, threads in a fabric, cracks in a stone. The universe has left such magnifying glasses scattered across the sky. Astronomers only need to find them, align their gaze, and the invisible becomes visible. There is beauty too in the shapes lensing creates. Sometimes the bent light forms an arc, like a crescent moon painted around a galaxy. Sometimes it completes into a full ring, called an Einstein ring, after the scientist whose theory of relativity first predicted such a sight. These rings are not objects themselves, but illusions, mirages of light curved into a circle by gravity. They are in a sense cosmic artwork, brushstrokes painted by invisible hands. And there is another gift hidden here. Lensing does not only magnify, it also weighs. By studying how light bends, astronomers can measure the mass of the object doing the bending, even if that mass is invisible. This is one of the ways we know dark matter exists. Ordinary matter, like stars and gas, cannot account for the amount of bending we see. Something unseen must be shaping the path of light. Lensing, therefore, becomes not just a telescope, but also a scale, weighing the invisible. To bring this closer, picture wind shaping the waves on a field of tall grass. You cannot see the wind itself, but you know it is there because of the way the stalks bend. In the same way, dark matter cannot be seen directly, but we know it is there because light bends around it. Gravitational lensing has given us some of the most astonishing discoveries in recent decades. It has allowed astronomers to glimpse galaxies from a time when the universe was only a few 100 million years old, mere moments after the first stars ignited. These galaxies are too faint to be seen otherwise, but magnified by natural lenses, their ancient light is revealed. It is as if the universe itself wanted us to look back, holding up a mirror so that we could catch sight of our own beginnings. And beyond galaxies, lensing has helped map the invisible scaffolding of the cosmos. By tracing how light bends across different patches of sky, scientists create maps of dark matter's distribution. These maps show a cosmic web, vast filaments of unseen mass connecting galaxies like pearls on strings. Without lensing, this hidden structure would remain only an idea. With it, we can see the outlines of the unseen. There is a certain tenderness in realizing that even light, the swiftest traveller we know, is not entirely free. It bends, it curves, it adapts to the shape of space. Like a river finding its way around stones, light flows along the contours carved by gravity. And in those curves, we find knowledge. Perhaps the most moving thought of all is that gravitational lensing, predicted long ago by equations scribbled on paper, has become a reality we can photograph. What once was theory is now a gallery of cosmic illusions, arcs, rings, and magnified galaxies, all whispering truths about matter we cannot see. It is a reminder of the elegance of the cosmos, how something invisible can leave traces so clear, how something weightless like light can reveal the heavier secrets. So, the next time you sip from a glass of water and notice a straw bend, think of galaxies bending light across billions of years and billions of light years. Think of cosmic magnifying glasses lying across the heavens waiting to be found. They remind us that nature itself provides the tools for discovery. We only need to look carefully and let the whispers of bent light guide us. From here, our quiet exploration now turns to mapping the invisible itself, to the hidden webs of matter that lensing reveals, to the scaffolding that holds galaxies in place. For even though we cannot see this matter, light gives us the map, and the cosmos invites us to trace its unseen patterns. The trail of clues leads us gently onward, deeper into the mystery of what lies behind the light itself. We've seen how gravity bends light, turning massive galaxies and clusters into natural telescopes. But lensing does something more subtle too. It gives us a way to draw maps of what cannot be seen directly, the invisible scaffolding of the cosmos, woven from dark matter. Dark matter is elusive. It does not glow, does not reflect, does not interact with light in the ways ordinary matter does. You cannot see it through a telescope, no matter how powerful, and yet, the universe is full of it. We know it must be there because of its pull, because galaxies spin in ways that ordinary matter alone cannot explain. Still, its presence is indirect, like the wind. You cannot see the wind itself, but you see the branches it bends, the ripples it carves across water, the sway of tall grass in a field. Light, once again, becomes the messenger. When it passes through or around regions filled with dark matter, it bends. Not sharply, like a straw in water, but subtly, like a thin veil tugging the light ever so slightly off course. By measuring these small distortions across the sky, astronomers can reconstruct where the dark matter lies. The result is a map, an atlas of the invisible. It is remarkable to think of maps made entirely of things you cannot see. Imagine, for instance, mapping the rooms of a house while blindfolded, guided only by the sound of your footsteps and the way echoes bounce off the bare walls. Bit by bit, you would sketch the layout. It would not be perfect, but the outlines would emerge. That is how astronomers draw maps of dark matter, using the echoes of light, the distortions in the sky, to trace something invisible but real. The maps reveal a cosmic web. Across the universe, galaxies are not scattered randomly, but strung along filaments like pearls on invisible threads. Between the threads are great voids, cosmic deserts almost empty of galaxies. This web is dark matter's handiwork. It is the scaffolding on which the visible universe hangs. Without it, galaxies would not cluster, stars would not gather, and the large-scale structure of the cosmos would look entirely different. To make this more tangible, imagine the framework of a house. You don't see the beams behind the walls or the nails holding the joints, but without them, the house would collapse. Dark matter is that hidden framework. The stars and galaxies are the painted walls, the glowing windows, the visible surfaces. But underneath, unseen, is the structure that holds them all in place. And yet, dark matter is not only structural, it also connects. The web stretches across billions of light years, linking galaxies in ways we could never see with our eyes alone. It is like an underground root system connecting trees in a forest. You see the trees, tall and individual, but beneath the soil their roots intertwine, sharing nutrients, supporting each other, shaping the forest as one living whole. The universe is the same. Galaxies that seem solitary are actually linked by invisible bridges of dark matter, forming a cosmic forest. Gravitational lensing has been key to uncovering this. By analysing how light from distant galaxies is subtly stretched and sheared as it passes through the web, astronomers can trace the density and distribution of dark matter. The distortions are faint fractions of a percent, but with enough measurements, patterns emerge. The invisible becomes sketchable. The cosmos begins to reveal its hidden bones. And what do these maps tell us? They confirm that dark matter is far more abundant than ordinary matter. For every atom of gas or star, there are several times more of this unseen substance, shaping the universe's destiny. It is humbling to realise that what we see, the glowing galaxies, the shining stars, is only a fraction of reality. Most of the universe is hidden, and yet its influence is everywhere. This can feel unsettling at first, but there is comfort in the metaphor. Just as you trust the beams of your house though you do not see them, just as you rely on the wind though you cannot hold it, you can trust that dark matter is there, quietly shaping everything. There is also beauty in its invisibility. If you could see dark matter, the night sky would look entirely different. Instead of scattered pinpricks of starlight, you would see luminous threads stretching across the heavens, vast webs glowing with invisible mass. Galaxies would no longer seem isolated. They would be revealed as bright knots in a tapestry. But since our eyes cannot see it, we rely on photons, fossil messengers, to trace its outline. This way of mapping reminds us that science is not only about what is obvious, it is also about listening carefully to whispers, looking for faint traces, piecing together what is hidden. The universe does not always announce its secrets loudly. Sometimes it leaves them buried in distortions, in subtle bends of light, waiting patiently for us to notice. And so, when you look up at the stars, know that you are not seeing the whole picture. You are looking at the glowing lanterns, yes, but not the strings that hold them. You're gazing at the pearls, but not the thread that ties them together. The cosmos is both more empty and more full than it seems. Empty because of the voids that stretch vast and dark. Full because of the unseen mass binding it all. As we rest with this thought, imagine yourself walking through a forest at dusk. You see the trunks of trees, the leaves overhead, the shadows in the undergrowth. But you know, beneath the soil, the roots are weaving together, hidden but vital. The night sky is like that forest. The galaxies are the trunks, the stars, the leaves. Dark matter is the root network beneath, unseen but binding all into one. From here, the story carries us to an even more haunting thought. Not only can we map what is invisible, but we can also use these maps, combined with the fossil light we have gathered, to sketch the future. For in the way the cosmos bends and scatters its photons, the fate of stars and galaxies is already written, waiting for us to read it. Our quiet exploration now turns to the most enchanting idea of all, that the future of the cosmos is already written in the light we see today. It may seem paradoxical. How can something so ancient, so rooted in the past, tell us about what has not yet happened? But light is a faithful witness. In its patterns, in its ripples and colours, the seeds of tomorrow are inscribed. We need only learn how to read them. Think of a melody beginning. The first few notes might seem incomplete, but they already contain the rhythm and tone of the song to come. A skilled musician can hear the opening bars and predict where the music is heading. Ancient light is like those opening notes, the faint afterglow of the Big Bang, the fossil photons from galaxies, the bent arcs of lensing, they are all fragments of a melody the cosmos has been playing for billions of years. From them, astronomers can hum the verses yet to come. One of the most profound predictions concerns star formation. By reading the fossil light of distant galaxies, we know that the universe was once more vibrant, filled with the frantic birth of new stars. That peak of creativity came billions of years ago. Since then, the pace has slowed, like a fire burning through its richest logs and settling into embers. The glow of ancient light told us this story long before telescopes confirmed it, and the forecast is clear. The universe will grow quieter, its star-making factories slowing further until only the smallest, longest-lived stars remain. Another prediction is about the grand dance of galaxies. The fossil light reveals not only how galaxies are arranged now, but how their motions will bring them together. Our own Milky Way and the Andromeda Galaxy are drifting toward each other. In about 4 billion years, the two will meet, merging into a new, larger galaxy, sometimes nicknamed Milkdromeda. From the perspective of the stars, it will be a slow, graceful dance, unfolding over millions of years, and we know this not because we've seen it happen yet, but because ancient light, read carefully, whispers the choreography. There is also the question of the universe's fate. Light from the cosmic microwave background shows us the balance of matter and energy, and from that balance, we can project forward. The evidence suggests that dark energy, the mysterious force pushing space apart, is in control. If this remains true, the universe will continue expanding forever. Galaxies will drift farther and farther apart until the night sky, trillions of years from now, may appear nearly empty. The great clusters of galaxies will be beyond reach, their light stretched too thin to see. It is a melancholy thought, but also strangely peaceful, like a bonfire burning down, leaving glowing embers in the dark. But there are other possibilities, whispered faintly in the light. If dark energy changes its nature, the expansion might slow. It could even reverse, leading to a big crunch, where all matter collapses back together. Or, if dark energy grows stronger with time, the expansion could accelerate uncontrollably, pulling even atoms apart in a final big rip. These are not certainties, but scenarios written as faint annotations in the cosmic manuscript. We read them with caution, knowing that the story may yet hold twists. It may help to anchor this in something every day. Imagine reading the early chapters of a novel. The characters, the setting, the tone, all are introduced. From them, you can sense the likely direction of the plot. But there's always room for surprise, for unexpected turns. Ancient Light is the novel's beginning. It tells us who the characters are: stars, galaxies, dark matter, dark energy. It shows us the tone, expansion, clustering, cycling of creation and destruction. From this, we can sense the shape of the ending. But perhaps, like any great story, the cosmos has a twist waiting in its final chapters. Even the way time flows is part of the forecast. The light tells us that gravity slows time in dense regions, while empty space lets it run more quickly. Over billions of years, these differences shape the universe's rhythm. It is a quiet reminder that time itself is not rigid, but elastic, woven into the destiny of stars and galaxies. There is poetry in this act of prediction. We're not reading numbers on a page, but rainbows in the sky. We're not casting dice, but listening to whispers carried across billions of years. The cosmos is not keeping its secrets tightly locked. It is offering them gently, in every photon, every ripple, every arc of bent light. And perhaps this is why such predictions feel soothing rather than frightening. To know that galaxies will merge, that stars will fade, that the universe will cool, it is not a doom, but a lullaby. It tells us that the cosmos, like us, has a life cycle, a beginning, a flourishing, a slowing, and eventually a rest. Endings are not abrupt, but gradual, stretched across timescales so vast they become almost serene. So when you gaze at the night sky, remember that you are not only looking into the past, you're also glimpsing the outlines of the future. Each star is a note in the symphony of time, each galaxy a paragraph in the story yet to unfold, and all of it is already written in the light, patiently waiting for us to listen. From here, the story carries us gently toward the promise of new eyes, telescopes still to come, instruments that will capture even fainter whispers, older photons, subtler patterns. The next generation of observers will open new windows onto the past, and in doing so refine our glimpses of tomorrow. For the future is not fixed, it is a manuscript still being edited, its pages illuminated by light that has yet to arrive. From here, the story opens into the future of discovery, into the promise of eyes not yet tired by distance, lenses not dulled by time. For centuries, humanity has lifted its gaze upward, first with naked eyes, then with simple lenses, and now with machines so delicate they can collect the faintest whispers of ancient light. The James Webb Space Telescope, often described as a time machine, is the newest and most powerful of these eyes. And what makes it remarkable is not only its precision, but the fact that it allows us to peer deeper into history than ever before, and through that, to glimpse more of tomorrow. To understand what Webb does, imagine you've just found a box in the attic of your family home. Inside are letters written generations ago. You've never seen them before. They have been waiting patiently in silence, gathering dust until you lifted the lid. That is what the telescope does. It opens boxes in the cosmic attic, filled with letters written by galaxies when they were young. Webb is tuned to the infrared part of the spectrum, the gentle glow of warmth rather than the sharp brightness of visible light. Why does this matter? Because the universe has been stretching since its beginning. Light from the earliest galaxies, once emitted as brilliant blue or white, has been stretched and reddened by the expansion of space itself. By the time it arrives here, billions of years later, it is shifted into the infrared. Ordinary telescopes cannot see it. It is like trying to read faded ink in a dim room. But Webb's instruments are like lanterns designed to reveal those faded words. And what have those lanterns shown so far? Even in its first months, Webb surprised us. Galaxies appeared where none had been seen before. Tiny, faint, but already formed within a few 100 million years after the Big Bang. The letters in the attic were older than we imagined, and the handwriting more mature. Where scientists expected the first galaxies to be clumsy, disorganized clusters of stars, Webb revealed structures that looked surprisingly well developed. The story of cosmic dawn is more complex than we had guessed, and ancient light had been waiting to correct us. There is a quiet suspense in this work, because Webb's images do more than show us what is there. They also remind us of what we do not yet understand. For every galaxy revealed, questions multiply. How did they form so quickly? Were the first stars larger and more numerous than we thought? Are there hidden processes, new physics, whispering in these faint lights? It is as though you opened a family letter and found a sentence written in a language you do not yet speak, but which hints at secrets waiting to be decoded. Beyond galaxies, Webb may help us glimpse the very first black holes, objects that formed when some of the earliest stars collapsed. These black holes are like punctuation marks at the dawn of time, periods at the end of the first sentences written by the cosmos. We cannot see the black holes themselves, but the light around them, swirled, heated and bent, may reveal their presence. If we can catch such signals, we may learn not only about the beginning of stars, but about the beginnings of gravity's darkest mysteries. And Webb is only the beginning of a new chapter. Other telescopes are already planned, each with its own way of listening to the universe. The Nancy Grace Roman Telescope, named for the woman who championed the Hubble, will widen our gaze, surveying vast portions of sky to find patterns in how galaxies cluster and how dark energy pushes space apart. the extremely large telescope, rising in the deserts of Chile, will use mirrors the size of a house to sharpen our view of distant worlds. Together, these instruments are like a chorus, each voice tuned to a different range, but together singing the story of the cosmos. It is worth pausing here to note the patience involved. Light has been travelling for billions of years, but we have only just learned how to catch it. We stand at the edge of a river, dipping our hands into a stream that has been flowing since the dawn of time. The photons that strike Webb's mirrors tonight may have begun their journey before Earth even existed. We are latecomers to the story, and yet the universe still shares its letters with us, as if waiting for someone to read them. Perhaps the most moving part of Webb's work is not the science, but the perspective. Each image is both breathtaking and humbling. When we see a field of galaxies, each a swirl of stars older than our planet, we are reminded of how small we are, and yet how privileged to be able to see them at all. It is as though the cosmos, in all its vastness, leans down to whisper, "Here is how I began." And what will we learn in the coming decades? We may refine our models of how galaxies form, how black holes grow, how dark energy steers the expansion. We may discover surprises that force us to rewrite the story, or we may find mysteries that cannot yet be explained, left for future generations to solve. That is part of the charm. Discovery is never finished. Each telescope is not the last word, but the next step in a long conversation. So as you picture Webb floating far from Earth, its golden mirrors unfolding like petals of a flower, imagine it not as a machine of metal and glass, but as a lantern in the attic of the universe. It shines not by its own light, but by gathering the ancient glow that has waited so long to be seen. And with each photon it collects, another page of the cosmic diary is revealed. From here, the story will carry us to what lies still unseen. Hidden structures, first galaxies, and early black holes, waiting quietly in the dark for their letters to be opened. The trail of clues leads us gently into the unknown, the places where light has not yet spoken clearly, where the cosmos has left blank pages in its diary. With the James Webb Telescope and those that will follow, astronomers hope to uncover these hidden structures, to bring into view the earlier shapes of galaxies, the first black holes, and perhaps even processes we have not yet imagined. Think of a library where many shelves are filled with books, but in the dim corners there are volumes still wrapped in dust, unopened for centuries. We have read many of the brighter, newer books, the galaxies nearby, the stars familiar. But the older ones, those earliest chapters of the universe, are harder to reach. They are faint, fragile, and require special light to read. Telescopes like Webb are the lamps that finally let us wander into those corners and pull the hidden books from the shelves. One of the mysteries awaiting us is the very first galaxies. The background glow of the universe tells us that after a few 100 million years, stars began to gather, weaving themselves into collections of light. But exactly how this happened, how small clouds of gas became organized into the majestic spirals and clusters we see today, is still unclear. Were the first galaxies chaotic, fragile structures that merged again and again, or were they surprisingly stable from the beginning? The truth may be stranger than either guess. Webb has already revealed some of these early galaxies, tiny smudges magnified by natural gravitational lenses. They appear older and more organized than we expected, as though the universe learned how to build quickly. This raises new questions. Did the first stars burn hotter, or did dark matter play a more active role in shaping them? These are whispers we're only just beginning to hear. Another hidden structure we hope to glimpse is the first generation of black holes. These objects, born when massive stars collapsed, may have appeared astonishingly early. Some grew into the colossal black holes at the centres of galaxies, monsters weighing millions or billions of times the mass of our Sun. How could they have grown so large, so fast? Ancient light may carry the answers, If Webb or future telescopes catch the glow of matter swirling into one of these early giants, we may begin to understand how they seeded the galaxies we see today. It's worth pausing here to remember how light reveals what is otherwise invisible. Black holes themselves give off no light, but the material falling toward them is heated to extremes, glowing before it disappears. That glow, stretched by time, still travels to us. If we can catch it, we can read the story of a black hole's birth. It's like hearing laughter echoing in a canyon long after the people have gone. You cannot see the moment itself, but the sound lingers. There is also the question of reionization, the time when the universe's fog cleared once more. After the first stars lit, their light began to strip electrons from atoms, making space transparent again. This was the second great dawn, when darkness gave way to clarity. But exactly how this process unfolded is still uncertain. Ancient light holds the memory, but we need sharper instruments to read it. It's like seeing the faintest outline of a sunrise on the horizon and trying to tell how quickly the day will break. And what of the surprises? Perhaps the most exciting promise of new telescopes is not what we expect to find, but what we cannot yet imagine. Every time we have opened new eyes on the universe, we have been astonished. Hubble revealed that a tiny empty patch of sky, when stared at long enough, contained thousands of galaxies. Webb has shown us structures more mature than we predicted. What will the next eyes reveal? Perhaps exotic forms of matter, unexpected patterns of star birth, or even entirely new physical processes, waiting quietly in the shadows. To bring this closer, picture exploring an old attic with a lantern. At first, you see familiar objects, boxes, photographs, trinkets. But as the light sweeps further, it falls on something strange, an object you do not recognize, one that does not fit with the rest. You pick it up, puzzled, realizing that the story you thought you knew has hidden chapters. That is how discovery often works in astronomy. Light reveals not only what we anticipated, but also things we never dreamed. This sense of suspense is part of the wonder. We may not yet know the questions these lights will answer. The first galaxies may solve riddles about how structure forms, or they may pose new riddles about physics we have not yet written. The first black holes may show us familiar patterns, or they may whisper of forces beyond our current knowledge. The truth is that we do not know, and that is the thrill. And so, the future of discovery is not only about filling in gaps, it is about embracing the unknown. Ancient light still has many letters left unopened, many fossils unbrushed, many whispers we have not yet trained our ears to hear. Each new telescope is not a final key, but another lamp in the attic, another brush in the archaeologist's hand, another chance to listen more carefully. From here, our story carries us to the grandest of questions, the shape of tomorrow itself. For as we uncover these hidden structures, we also refine our vision of what the universe will become. The fate of all things, written faintly in the expansion of space and the push of dark energy, is waiting in the light. The ending of the story shifts as we uncover missing pages, and the next session will invite us to turn those fragile pages gently. The path now carries us to one of the most haunting mysteries written in the light, the quiet, invisible hand of dark energy. Of all the forces the cosmos has revealed to us, this is the most elusive. It neither glows nor pulls in the way gravity does. Instead, it pushes, stretching the fabric of space itself, speeding galaxies apart. Ancient light tells us it is there, and future telescopes will refine our understanding, perhaps showing us how it changes with time. For in dark energy lies the secret of the universe's ultimate fate. To grasp this, think of a story whose ending depends on missing pages. You may know the characters and the setting, but the conclusion is still hidden. Every new observation of light is like finding one of those pages. Sometimes the ending seems peaceful, sometimes it seems tragic. The truth lies somewhere in the unwritten part of the manuscript, waiting for us to uncover. We first learned of dark energy by listening to light from distant supernova, stellar explosions so bright they can be seen across billions of light years. These supernovae are like cosmic lighthouses, steady enough to serve as markers. By comparing their brightness and their redshift, how much their light has been stretched as the universe expands, astronomers realize something shocking. Galaxies were not only moving apart, but doing so faster and faster. It was as if, instead of slowing down after an explosion, the debris began to accelerate, flying outward ever more quickly. Ancient light had whispered a contradiction. Gravity should have been pulling everything back, at least slowing expansion. Instead, some hidden energy was working against gravity, pushing everything outward. We named it dark energy, not because we understood it, but because we needed a name for what we cannot see. Now, what does this mean for tomorrow? There are several possibilities, and each is a story, shaped by how dark energy behaves. In the first possibility, dark energy remains constant, like a steady breeze that never dies down. In this case, the universe will continue expanding forever. Galaxies will drift farther apart, stars will burn out, and in unimaginable stretches of time, the cosmos will cool into darkness. Astronomers call this scenario the Big Freeze. It sounds melancholy, but it is also quiet, serene, a long rest after a long song. In the second possibility, dark energy may weaken over time. If that happens, gravity could one day regain control, slowing expansion and eventually reversing it. The universe would stop stretching and begin collapsing inward, galaxies rushing back together in a fiery embrace. This scenario is called the Big Crunch. It is dramatic, but also cyclical, like a story folding back on itself to begin again. There is a third possibility, more unsettling. If dark energy grows stronger with time, expansion could accelerate so violently that even galaxies, stars, planets, and finally atoms themselves would be torn apart. This is the Big Rip, a universe that ends not with a sigh, but with a tearing. Yet even here, there is a strange beauty, a reminder that nothing is truly fixed, that even the strongest bonds are woven from the fabric of space and can be unmade. Future telescopes, Webb, Roman and others, are like careful readers searching for clues in the margins. By observing how galaxies cluster, how light bends, how supernovae shine, they will refine the models. Each observation is another line in the manuscript, another hint at the ending. To anchor this in something familiar, think of weather. A sailor on the sea might look at the wind, the waves, the clouds, and predict where the storm is heading. The forecast may change as more signs appear, but the trajectory is already shaped. Dark energy is the weather of the cosmos. Its breeze is faint but steady, pushing galaxies apart like ships on an ocean current. And just as in weather, the small details matter. A shift in the patterns of ancient light, a subtle change in how galaxies move. These may be enough to tip the forecast from one ending to another. Will it be freeze, crunch, or rip? The truth may not yet be clear, but the path is narrowing. Yet there is comfort too in knowing that all these endings lie far, far beyond the timescales of human lives, even beyond the lives of stars. Whatever the fate, it will unfold over trillions of years. For us, for now, the universe is still full of warmth, of starlight, of galaxies brimming with energy. The future is a distant horizon, and we walk our short steps in the glow of the present. Perhaps the most soothing way to think of dark energy is not as a threat, but as a storyteller. It shapes the rhythm of time, the spacing of galaxies, the vastness of the night sky. It ensures that the story is not static, but always unfolding. And while we may not know the ending, we are part of the middle, the chapters rich with detail, the pages alive with light. So as you breathe and listen now, imagine the universe as a great book resting open on a table. Some pages are smudged, others are clear. We have read many of the early chapters, and telescopes are helping us read further still. The final chapters remain hidden, their ink invisible for now. But one day, by reading the whispers of light more carefully, we may uncover the words that tell us how the story closes. For now, it is enough to marvel that we can read as much as we do, that the photons falling into our telescopes tonight are carrying hints not only of where we came from, but of where we are going. Tomorrow's shape is written in yesterday's glow, and every new observation brings us closer to understanding the rhythm of the cosmos. From here, our quiet journey turns back toward home, to the light that is not distant or ancient but near and familiar, the glow of candles, lamps and sunlight, each with a history, each whispering that even the photons in our own rooms are part of the same story. The trail of clues leads us gently back from the vastness of distant galaxies to something more intimate, the light that surrounds you in this very moment. After wandering through whispers billions of years old, it is easy to forget that even the photons brushing against your skin right now have stories to tell. Each one, no matter how ordinary, is part of the same cosmic journey. Take sunlight, for example. It feels immediate, warming your face as you step outside, but it is already 8 minutes old by the time it reaches you. That means the sunlight you feel at this very instant began its trip across space when you were still tying your shoes or pouring your morning tea. Inside the sun, the story stretches even further back. The photons released from its core may have bounced around for tens of thousands of years before finally escaping the surface, zigzagging through the dense interior like a traveller lost in a labyrinth. By the time they arrive here, they carry the history of that long hidden journey. Even the light from a lamp in your room has a past. The electricity that powers it may come from coal, oil, wind, or the splitting of atoms, all processes linked in the end to ancient starlight. Fossil fuels are the remnants of plants that once grew in sunlight. Wind is stirred by the sun's uneven heating of Earth. Even nuclear power is born of elements forged in stellar explosions. When a light bulb glows, it is not only electricity at work, but a chain of cosmic events stretching back through ages. Candlelight carries a story too. Strike a match, and the flame flickers into being. The wax melts, molecules break apart, carbon combines with oxygen, and photons are released. But where did the carbon in the wax come from? It was once part of a star, fused in its fiery core, scattered into space, gathered on Earth, and shaped into wax by human hands. When the candle burns, it is those ancient atoms glowing once more. Even a flickering flame on your bedside table is a continuation of the cosmic cycle. To bring this closer, imagine a dinner table lit by candles. The soft glow feels homely, warm, contained. Yet the atoms that feed that flame were born in the death throes of stars. The intimacy of the moment is woven with the enormity of the cosmos. The light is near, but its ancestry is ancient. There is comfort in realizing that the photons touching you now belong to the same family as the ones that travelled for billions of years across the depths of space. The light of galaxies and the glow of a lamp are not separate things, but threads in one vast tapestry. Whether near or far, whether ancient or recent, light always carries history, and light does not only tell the story of its origin, it shapes our daily lives in ways so familiar we rarely notice. The cycle of day and night is written in light, guiding the rhythm of our bodies. Plants bend toward it, leaves opening and closing with its presence. Our own moods shift with its brightness. We rise with the dawn and grow calm with dusk. Photons are not only carriers of cosmic secrets, but companions in our most ordinary routines. Even moonlight, soft and silvery, is borrowed light. It is sunlight reflected off dust and rock, dimmed and cooled by distance. When you look at the moon, you're bathed in a double echo, light from the sun, born in nuclear reactions millions of years ago, bouncing off the lunar surface and then gliding into your eyes. Something so gentle carries an astonishingly long story. If you pause for a moment now and notice the light in your room, you can trace its ancestry too. A beam from a screen, a lamp on a desk, even the faint glow of a clock in the dark, all of them descend from processes that began in the stars. Nothing about light is trivial, no matter how small the source may seem. This thought can change the way you see your surroundings. Suddenly the world is full of connections. A candle on a table is linked to the furnace of a star. A ray of sunlight is the latest chapter in a journey thousands of years long. Even the gentle warmth you feel radiating from your own body is part of the same family. Photons in the infrared spectrum leaving you quietly, carrying a record of your presence into the night. There is something tender about this idea. You're both a recipient and a sender in the cosmic exchange. You sit in the glow of photons older than your species, and at the same time you are releasing new ones, messengers that will continue into the world long after you have forgotten them. Perhaps this is why light feels so comforting. It is not just illumination, it is intimacy. It touches without weight, surrounds without force, warms without demand. To notice light is to notice connection. Between now and then, between here and there, between yourself and the cosmos. And so, the light that touches you now is not only a practical convenience, it is a quiet reminder that you are part of something immense. Every lamp, every candle, every ray of sunshine is a whisper of the stars, an echo of the universe's long memory, brushing softly against your skin. From here, our story carries us into how this ever-present light guides our biology, powers our technology, and orchestrates the rhythm of our days. For photons are not only storytellers of the past, they are conductors, keeping the orchestra of life in tune. Our quiet exploration now turns to the ways light does not only whisper of the cosmos, but also moves through our daily lives, guiding our bodies, shaping our tools, and quietly conducting the rhythms of the world around us. It is easy to think of light as something external, a glow in the sky, a lamp in the room, but in truth, we are woven into its influence. From the beating of our hearts to the ticking of our clocks, photons are part of the orchestra that keeps us in time. Begin with biology, the oldest partnership of all. Plants are, of course, the great interpreters of light. Their leaves unfold to catch it, turning sunlight into food through photosynthesis. Without that translation of photons into energy, the chain of life on Earth would falter. Every meal you eat, whether bread, fruit, or meat, is a memory of light captured in green leaves and passed along. A loaf of bread is sunlight stored as starch. An apple is sunlight condensed into sweetness. Even the protein of an egg or a piece of fish can be traced back, step by step, to light caught in plants. You are nourished by photons, even if they have changed form many times along the way. Humans too are tuned to light in more subtle ways. Within our brains is a small cluster of neurons often called the body's master clock. It takes its cues from daylight, synchronizing our circadian rhythm, the daily pattern of waking and sleeping, hunger and rest. Morning light tells our body to rise, releasing hormones that make us alert. Evening light fades, and our bodies begin to prepare for sleep. Even when we close our eyes, the cycle continues, guided by the gentle metronome of light. This is why light feels so deeply tied to mood. A grey day can make us drowsy. A bright morning can fill us with energy. The absence of sunlight in long winters can bring melancholy, while its return in spring feels like renewal. Photons are not only physical, they're emotional companions, shaping how we feel from moment to moment. To anchor this, picture an orchestra tuning before a concert. Each instrument finds its pitch, guided by a single note. Light plays that role in our lives. It is the conductor, setting the tempo, keeping every cell in harmony with the day. Without it, the instruments fall out of sync. Our bodies drift, our rhythms falter. Light keeps us steady, like music carrying us forward. But light does not stop at biology. It also threads through our technology, becoming one of our most versatile tools. Consider solar panels. They are nothing more than surfaces designed to catch photons and turn them into electricity. Yet in them, the sun's energy flows directly into our homes, powering the very lamps that give us light again. It is a circle. Sunlight becomes current, current becomes light, and photons return to fill our rooms. Think also of communication. Fibre optic cables carry light beneath oceans and across continents. Pulses of photons flickering on and off in coded patterns that translate into voices, images, and words. You could be speaking to someone on the other side of the world, and the message is carried not by ink or paper, but by a stream of light bouncing along strands of glass no thicker than a hair. In this sense, light is not just a messenger of the past, but also of the present, carrying our conversations at nearly the speed of thought. Even our navigation depends on light. The satellites orbiting Earth that make up the GPS network rely on beams of radio light, clocked with extraordinary precision. Without corrections based on Einstein's relativity, softly put, the idea that time ticks differently in orbit than on Earth, the signals would drift. Your phone might tell you you're standing on the wrong street or even in the wrong city. Light keeps our maps honest, our steps aligned. The photons racing between satellites and devices are unseen, but they quietly guide our movements every day. To bring this closer, imagine a conductor standing before two orchestras at once, one playing fast, one playing slow. Without guidance, the music becomes chaos, but with a steady hand, the tempos merge. Relativity tells us that clocks on Earth and clocks in space run at slightly different rhythms. Light is the baton that keeps them together, allowing the orchestras of satellites and phones to play in harmony. What is striking is how seamlessly these roles blend. Light, born in the hearts of stars, now flows through solar panels, communication cables, and satellite networks. It guides your sleep, powers your homes, and directs your travels. In every moment, it is both cosmic and domestic, ancient and immediate. Perhaps the most tender realization is that our dependence on light is not only practical, but existential. We are, in a sense, creatures of photons. They feed us through plants, align our inner clocks, shape our moods, connect our voices, and trace our paths. Without light, life would not only be dark, it would be silent, scattered, and disconnected. So as you sit in the glow of a lamp or glance at the light of a screen, pause for a moment. Remember that these photons are part of the same family as the ancient ones crossing the cosmos. They are conductors of your rhythm, carriers of your words, guides of your steps. You're immersed in light, bathed in it, shaped by it, even when you do not notice. From here, our story turns to the future of this intimacy. For light is not only memory and conductor, it is promise. The glow around us today, from sun and lamp and screen, will shape tomorrow's health, tomorrow's climate, and tomorrow's technology. The whispers of photons are not just about what was, but about what is to come. And so, the story carries us to the most personal part of all. The light around you right now, not as a relic of the past, but as a quiet architect of the future. We have seen how photons travel across billions of years, how they carry fossils of galaxies and secrets of dark energy. But photons closer at hand, sunlight on your skin, the glow of a screen, the lamp by your bed, are just as important. They are not only echoes of what has been, they are also whispers of what will be. Consider health, for instance. The sunlight that filters through your window in the morning does more than illuminate. It sets the rhythm of your day, telling your body when to wake, when to sleep, when to rest and repair. Without this guidance, our internal clocks drift, leaving us out of step. In winter months, when light grows scarce, some people feel their spirits dim. Doctors call it seasonal affective disorder, but you can think of it more softly as the soul missing its conductor. More light, even artificial, can restore harmony. In this way, the photons around you today shape the well-being you will feel tomorrow. Light also holds power over our climate. Sunlight is the engine of Earth's weather. The balance of how much light the planet absorbs reflects, or traps in its atmosphere determines the future of seasons, storms, and temperatures. A few changes in this balance, caused by greenhouse gases, volcanic eruptions, or even shifts in Earth's orbit, can alter the course of climates for centuries. To study sunlight now is to forecast the skies of future generations. Each photon bouncing off clouds or oceans is part of the story of tomorrow's weather, tomorrow's harvests, tomorrow's lives. Even the technologies we build today set the stage for tomorrow through light. Solar panels installed on rooftops, fields, and deserts will continue to capture sunlight for decades, shaping energy systems of the future. Each photon absorbed today is not just powering a lamp, it is part of a shift toward a new way of living, where ancient starlight fuels human civilization directly. Light is not just illumination, it is infrastructure, a foundation for choices yet to come. Think of communication again. The beams of light racing through fiber optic cables do not end with one message. They weave networks of connection, building relationships, shaping decisions, and guiding societies. A single conversation carried by photons can ripple outward into tomorrow's actions, tomorrow's inventions, tomorrow's stories. The glow of your screen is not just entertainment, it is a link in the chain of cause and effect that will become history. And there is more still. Artificial light, for all its comforts, also reshapes the natural world. The glow of cities at night can confuse migrating birds, dim the stars for future stargazers, and even change how plants bloom. The photons we create today linger in ways that ripple outward, altering patterns of life tomorrow. In this sense, light is a responsibility as much as a gift. It is a reminder that every glow, no matter how small, has consequences that stretch beyond our immediate moment. To anchor this thought, imagine standing in a field under a clear night sky. Above you, countless stars send their ancient light, carrying stories billions of years old. Around you, a town or city may glow, spilling modern light into the heavens. The two meet, the old and the new, woven into one tapestry. The past and the present share the same sky, and together they shape the future. Ancient light shows us where we came from. Present light hints at where we are going. Even your own body participates in this forward-looking story. The photons you emit, heat escaping as faint infrared light, become part of the environment. They may not travel for billions of years, but they ripple outward, warming, interacting, joining the constant exchange of energy that keeps the Earth alive. You're not only shaped by light, you're also a source of it, contributing your own small glow to tomorrow's world. Perhaps the most tender way to think of this is to see light as a promise. Every photon carries something forward. It may be the energy to grow a leaf, the signal to synchronize a clock, or the warmth to lift your mood. It may be the power stored in a solar panel, ready to be used years from now, or it may be the faint glow of a candle, its memory lingering long after the flame is gone. Light is the bridge from today into tomorrow, the thread that ties what has been to what will be. And so, when you notice the glow of your lamp tonight, or the way sunlight falls across a floor in the morning, pause for a moment. Those photons are not only illuminating your present, they are setting the stage for what comes next, guiding your health, shaping your environment, powering your technology, and even altering the sky your descendants will see. The future, in its quiet beginnings, is already written in today's glow, and the beauty of it is that we are not only passive observers, we choose how to use light, how to shape it, how to live in harmony with it. The whispers of photons ask us not just to listen, but also to respond, and so the light around us is both memory and promise. It links us to stars long gone, while also guiding us into futures not yet born. In this way, light is not only a story we read, it is a story we are still writing. From here, our gentle exploration begins to draw back, stepping away from predictions and technologies and returning to wonder itself. For in the end, the greatest gift of light is not only its power, but its poetry. It is the lullaby of the universe, the seashell whisper of distant oceans, and the soft reminder that we are creatures shaped by ancient fire. Our quiet exploration now turns toward wonder itself, to the gentle truth that light is more than physics, more than science. It is a lullaby woven through the cosmos, a song that began at the dawn of time and continues still. When you pause to listen, it is always there. Soft, persistent, patient. It cradles us, not with melody but with presence, reminding us that we're part of something older and grander than words can contain. Think back to where our journey began, the baby picture of the universe, the faint glow of the cosmic microwave background. That light is still all around us, wrapping the sky in a soft fabric we cannot see with our eyes but can detect with instruments. It is the first verse of the lullaby, the earliest whisper of the universe saying, "I am here." From those faint ripples, everything we know has unfolded: stars, galaxies, planets, and us. Then consider the starlight we see each night. Each twinkle is a note in the song, an echo of a moment long past carried faithfully across time. Some of those notes began when Earth was young, when oceans were still forming, when no eye had yet evolved to see them. Others began when forests already covered the land, when humans were building their first fires, and yet they arrived together in our present, part of the same cosmic chorus. There is something soothing about this layering of times. The night sky is not one moment frozen, but a blend of thousands, millions, even billions of moments. It is like listening to a choir where each voice comes from a different century, yet somehow the harmony is seamless. Ancient photons and modern photons sing together, and the song is simply called Night. Light also serves as a guide. Just as a parent hums a lullaby to settle a child, light has guided the universe from chaos into order. The tiny fluctuations in the background glow told matter where to gather, where to form stars and galaxies. Those first campfires, the stars without ash, lit the next verse of the song. Their deaths, in brilliant supernovae, added new instruments: oxygen, carbon, iron, each scattering the notes that would one day form life. Every element in our bodies is part of that composition. The calcium in our bones and the iron in our blood are chords struck by dying stars. When you breathe, you're breathing the music of the cosmos. To anchor this thought, imagine holding a seashell to your ear. You hear the echo of the ocean, even though the water is far away. Light works in the same way. It carries the ocean of the cosmos within it, the roar of creation softened into a hum we can still detect. Every photon is a seashell pressed to the ear of time, whispering of oceans we will never see but can still know. And yet this lullaby is not only ancient, it is also present, wrapping itself into the light that fills your days. The glow of dawn is a verse that wakes you gently. The warmth of a lamp in the evening is another verse reminding you to rest. Even the quiet shimmer of a candle on a nightstand hums with connection, its atoms forged long ago, its photons carrying a memory of stars. You live inside the song, whether you notice or not. There is tenderness in realizing that you are also part of the chorus. Your body radiates light, faint and invisible to your eyes, but real nonetheless. Every second you're releasing photons into the night, contributing your own notes to the cosmic hum. They may not travel for billions of years, but they join the great conversation of energy and matter, rippling outward, part of the song. You're not only listening, you are singing, quietly, without effort. And this lullaby, like all good songs, does not insist. It does not demand attention. It simply flows, waiting for you to notice. Sometimes you catch it in a quiet night beneath the stars. Sometimes you feel it in the warmth of sunlight on your face. Sometimes it is hidden in the hum of a machine or the glow of a screen. But always, it is there, reminding you that you belong to a universe vast and old, yet intimate enough to brush against your skin in the form of light. The beauty of calling it a lullaby is that it invites rest. It tells us that not everything must be understood in sharp detail. You do not need to solve equations or know the technical names of elements to be soothed by the knowledge that light has carried its story for billions of years. The song does not require translation, it only requires listening. So as you breathe now, feel yourself surrounded by this quiet music. The stars above, the candle near, the warmth of your own body, all of it is part of one melody, played across time. The cosmos has been singing it since the first dawn, and it will continue long after we are gone. That thought is not frightening, but calming, a reminder that we are part of something enduring, something gentle, something that does not end when we do. From here, the trail of clues leads us softly toward farewell. Our journey has followed light from the first whispers to the glow that touches us now. The last step is to rest in gratitude, to recognize that we are creatures shaped by ancient photons, and to let that truth cradle us like a lullaby. The story is nearly complete, and the final verse is simply a thank you. And so, we arrive at the final resting place of our journey, a quiet pause where the story of ancient light settles into gratitude. For 2 hours we have wandered together, from the baby picture of the universe to the glow of your bedside lamp, and now the task is no longer to learn, but simply to rest in the presence of what we have gathered. Think of how it feels to close a well-worn book at the end of the day. The story lingers, the image is still alive in your imagination, even as your eyes grow heavy. That is what light leaves us with. The photons are still travelling, still, whispering their secrets across space, but for us tonight, the story can rest. Light has been our guide, our messenger, our conductor, and our companion. It has carried us backward in time, showing us the first glimmers of creation. It has carried us forward, hinting at the future still unwritten. It has wrapped us in the present, brushing gently against our skin, guiding our clocks and filling our rooms. It has been memory, forecast, and presence, all at once, and in every role it has been tender. It touches without weight, it travels without hurry, it speaks without voice. It is the closest thing the universe has to a lullaby, and perhaps the closest thing we have to comfort. There is a deep intimacy in knowing that you are shaped by light. The atoms in your body were forged in stars, their death scattering the elements you now carry. The rhythms of your days are guided by the photons of the sun. Even your moods rise and fall with the brightness of the sky, and quietly, your own body contributes to this endless exchange, releasing its own small glow into the night. You're not a stranger to the cosmos, you are one of its verses. To anchor this thought, picture once more holding a seashell to your ear. You hear an ocean far away, even though you are standing on dry land. Tonight, as you lie here listening, you are holding the seashell of the cosmos. The hum you sense, the quiet presence you feel, is the ocean of the universe, far beyond yet carried gently to you in light. And perhaps, as your mind drifts towards sleep, you can feel comfort in the fact that you are not alone in this moment. Somewhere across the world, others are looking at the same stars, sitting in the same glow, listening to the same lullaby. Ancient photons have crossed space to gather us all in one shared light. No matter where you are part of this gathering, this silent communion beneath the sky. There is a temptation to ask for conclusions, to want an answer. What is the final fate of the universe? What is the meaning of these ancient whispers? But light does not insist on finality. It does not offer ultimatums. It offers companionship. It says only, I was here at the beginning, I am here now, and I will be here long after. That is enough. So let yourself rest. If your eyes are still open, let them close. If your thoughts are still restless, let them soften. If you're already floating somewhere between waking and dreaming, let the lullaby of the cosmos carry you further. There is no hurry. The photons will still be travelling, the stars will still be shining, the universe will still be humming when you wake. Thank you for being part of this journey tonight. It has been a quiet joy to walk with you, to listen with you, to share the story of ancient light. If you wish to return another night, there will always be more whispers waiting. The cosmos is generous, and its diary is never finished. For now, sleep peacefully, wherever you may be. The glow of the universe surrounds you. The lullaby of starlight is yours to keep, and tomorrow's whispers will be waiting in today's glow.